Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Linn and I hope you're well, and if you're not, I hope you're well soon. So, I have a particularly positive message today. My last video was about a breakthrough, and almost like a gateway of sorts that you would be stepping through, and this feels like the energy of the actual transformation of that. So as you know, we have a new moon tomorrow, which means that a lot of things are beginning, potentially ending, but more things are beginning. So you may have something new that has come into your life. You may have gotten a new job, gotten into a new relationship, or just had an energetic shift that's been pretty noticeable, or even slight, maybe just slight, depending on who you are. And it's giving you this renewed sense of, I'm actually more in control than I think I am. 101 on the little recording timer thing. So, I'm more in control than I think I am. I have more influence over my own life and what comes in and out of my life than I think I do. Do I have control over everything? No. But are there certain things that energetically you are influencing every single day? Yes. Yes. So when big things come into your life, or when small things come into your life, it has to do in part with you and what you are choosing. And it's funny because sometimes you may not think that you're doing well enough or you're doing the right thing. I actually wrote this down, so I want to just read it real quick and then I'll pick it apart a little bit more. So it says, your humanity, your lack of perfection, because no one is perfect, does not define you. Let's be real. You create you, and the real in the world is what you're here to work with. There we go. And there's a focus on there is no perfection. Perfection does not exist. Perfection itself is variable. There's not even really a way to define perfection. The human view of perfection, or at least if you think about it from a superficial standpoint, a little bit of throat action going on. So maybe you are having a throat chakra upgrade. Maybe you're speaking in different ways, trusting yourself to speak and express more authentically, more easily, probably. But again, back to the perfection of it. Perfection itself is a variable thing. From a human perspective, there's a certain perfection, but it depends on where you go and what kind of culture you're a part of, what there's just a lot of things. So I love to use the example of beauty standards because they are so variable. Depending on where you live, certain skin tones, certain features are idolized or idealized, even though it doesn't mean that they're better or worse than other features and skin tones and whatever else. It's just that has become the culturized idolization of ooh, this is what you should strive for. And that isn't truth, that's programming. And that is that goes for the same with everything. That's just an example. But again, it shows you that there is no perfection. Perfection is essentially made up by humans. It's made up to survive, to feel like there's a sense of social belonging, to feel like you are connecting with people, even though it's superficial when it comes to only surface level indication. Of course, there's biological reasons for it, of if I fit the standard that's accepted, then I will be more attractive, or whatever, but again, this is just an example, but I find it really fascinating. But essentially, perfection is something that humans make up based on programming that our brain has decided or internalized as the truth, even if it isn't. So You may know that our brain in general can be primitive at times, and some of the things that it believes are true are not true. It's based on programming, and people in the spiritual community love to say the word programming, but it is just an easy way of saying the way your brain has been wired, because that is a real scientific thing. And I'm not a professional, but I just know these things based on my own self-study. I went to college for psychology, and just my own observations of the world. So your brain, it internalizes things. It gets programmed like a computer. And sometimes it has errors, and it has strange algorithms that aren't really helpful and don't really aren't always the nicest thing to have, right? But it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you because you have those things. It's just good to be aware that a lot of the programming in your brain at times is not reality. And some of that programming is about perfection, about striving for something because it's deemed the best. Talk about this a lot. But see, where I see you going is from those programs. I feel you are rewiring some of those programmings about perfection itself, which is really important. That is how you liberate yourself further into being able to do what actually feels good to you and is contributing to your own joy, own happiness, and your own destiny in life path, rather than the programmed default that you were given through socialization or through genetics, depending on what you were given genetically to work with, right? And you still are working within that framework, but you're able to gain different programming that is more expansive rather than limiting, essentially. 707 on the timer. Love that number. Okay. So, yeah, I feel like you are gaining a deeper understanding of your innate functioning, in terms of how your brain itself works, and also that added piece of just socialization and internalization from programming. And with that awareness, you are able to deprogram, even if it's happening slowly or energetic. Like, it is energetic, but it's also physical rewiring. The way that it's occurring may or may not be hugely noticeable to you, at least right now. Or maybe you are stepping into being more aware of, oh, this is actually rewiring, this is actually changing within me. And it's a very beautiful transformation. I know, though, that when these energetic things or rewirings of programmings happen for me, as it is happening, it feels good, but also very strange, right? Because you're like, wait, how am I able to handle this now? How am I able to do this now? I thought that I would always be stuck here, or I don't even know what I did to get there. And sometimes you don't know what's even going on to get your brain to a different point in time, in a different perspective, a different programming. Sometimes you don't even know because a lot of it is subconscious. And a lot of it is happening energetically behind the scenes that you are not consciously aware of or thinking of. And if you were consciously thinking about it, you'd probably get overwhelmed because there's always so much changing, shifting, and going on inside of us. So, with that, I think that smaller things are not derailing you as much. I think small setbacks, or when you make a mistake, this comes into the perfection, you making a mistake or not doing something to the standard you have in your mind, you're finding it easier to not let those instances, that programming that comes up, like, ooh, you didn't do that right, something must be wrong, or you're failing. You're able to notice and observe it a lot easier and rewrite over it, like, hey, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me, or that doesn't mean that I messed up in a way that is horrible and speaks about who I am as a person, right? Right? It's not defining you. That's literally what I said. No one is perfect. Your lack of perfection does not define you. It does not define you. It makes you a human being. A human being. So that's where it's seeming with that. That programming, very important. So I feel like maybe you are also trusting, because that's coming up for you, it's helping you deepen your trust within your own power, within your ability to do and be what is optimal for you. That doesn't mean that things are that things are perfect all the time, and that you're fantastic all the time, and things are always going your way every single second. It means that you are choosing things that actively help you grow and always bring you to a point of deepened power and satisfaction in your life and authenticity, despite what is occurring. It's that cycle of transformation, rebirth, death, all of that. It's kind of interesting, actually. Transformation, rebirth, death, those 3 stages almost. The death, the transformation, and then the rebirth, right? Maybe that was a little confirmation for somebody if you've been thinking about that, like 3 different energies coming. And the number 3 itself is a very spiritual, divine number of sorts, and how we define it typically. So maybe that's a confirmation for somebody. But yeah, I also think you're allowing yourself to venture a little bit further into things that you truly desire and letting go of some of the things that have held you back. Knowing that you actually are enough and have the power to step into something that will change your life. That will change your life. And again, this doesn't have to be like a giant transformation. It could be subtle. It could be compounding over time until you come to a big realization that, hey, wow, I've really changed. But whatever it is, you are trusting yourself to step into your power to do and be the things that you truly desire and want. You're just deepening your sense of self and your expression of that self into the external world. You may find that, again, maybe you got a new job, somewhere that you really wanted to work, or in a position that you know is going to bring you down the path that you want to go down. Or maybe you got into a relationship that you know is going to help you learn a lot of things to help you deepen your connection with yourself, but also your ability to connect with other people in a healthier way, or just in a way that it means something to you. It isn't in a reactionary relationship or a reactionary connection with people. It is more intentional, it's more chosen, it's more safe. And again, that doesn't mean that turmoil never occurs. It just means that your foundation is stronger within these areas of your life, within your job, within your connections, familial, romantic, friendship, platonic, whatever, business, maybe even in the workplace, connections with coworkers or employers. I sense that a lot of deepening when it comes to your stability, your foundation with the areas of your life that matter most to you and that actually influence your life the most as a human. So typically, I think relational and career are like the 2 main focuses people tend to have, because they influence our life a lot, right? Our sense of belonging, our sense of connection, which humans need, and career as in stability, monetary value that helps support your daily living, your life, the things you're able to do in a world that is built on monetary value now. So even as frustrating as that can be. But yeah, that's really cool. That's really, I love that little message. I hope that was something that helped you as you heard that. Yeah, I think you're coming into a deeper union with yourself. Just another layer of self-discovery, of reinventing yourself, understanding yourself on a deeper level, and letting go of, and not even letting go in the sense of like, oh, I just let that go, but it's a compounded rewiring that is allowing you to let go. Because letting go itself isn't usually as easy as like, oh, I'm just gonna let this go. Because your brain, the way it's wired, may not let you just let it go, right? So it's realizing that you've made that compounded progress again to release another layer and reinvent it in however you see fit, and however is most beneficial beneficial for this chapter of your life. That was interesting. Again, I'm getting throat chakra. This whole time my throat has been like a little bit clogged up and also just stuttered on my words. So again, maybe you are finding it easier and easier to express yourself, even if it feels uncomfortable, because it usually does. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I hope you're well, and if you're not, I hope you're well soon. I'll see you next time.